Hey lovers, this is your gold titty that goes with a TTT. Without the TTT, that's not titty, but that's okay because I'm so excited. Okay, in today's video, I'm gonna be doing a storytelling. I'm gonna talk about the toxic relationship I had with my uncle and family. So growing up, I didn't understand what is toxic and normal, because when you are in a toxic family, you think that's how things supposed to be because you get used to the toxicity and you end up not seeing that toxicity as something wrong, as if like maybe something is wrong, something like that. You get used to it, to the fact that you started seeing that toxicity as normal. It becomes a new normal. So my uncle, he is the last born. He's the fourth child of my grandparent. So he's the last born, and he's always been disrespectful. He's always been disrespectful. He do as he please, and no one can say anything about that. It has always been like that. So the toxicity has always been there, but because I was a child, I couldn't see that this is toxicity. This is really wrong, man. We can't live like this. So I've always respected him as my uncle until one day he disrespected my mom. And then, mind you, my mom, it was the person who doesn't like to argue, who doesn't like fighting. She was the type of a person that you would insult her and she would just look at you, just to keep the peace. Just look at you and keep quiet about it until you're done shouting or you're done doing whatever. And immediately should forgive you. So Mary, you can literally come to her and be like, "Can I please have money? Can you please borrow me this and that?" Should give you without reminding you what happened yesterday. That she was the kind of person she was that kind of a person. She was a very sweet, you know, very sweet. But she can be rude sometimes. Yeah, when she had enough. But like she was very sweet, very sweet. So there was this one time I remember I was sitting on the stoop. Yes, and yeah, outside on the stoop. I don't know. Stoop ne? I don't know, guys, what do you call that in English? But we were sitting there outside chilling. Meanwhile, guys, I was 7 years old. Still a baby. Was a 7 year old, and I don't know, I can't really recall what was the argument between my uncle and my mom. And then my uncle started, shouting and insulting my mom. My mom had enough of him, insulting, being insulted every single time and keeping quiet. So my mom, she told him what he needed to hear. Like she was like this: "I'm not gonna be disrespected by you. I'm not. You get what I'm saying?" So the minute my mom responded to what my uncle said, I can't really remember what it was. And my uncle took a knife, wanted to stab my mom. And my mom stood up and started running. And like meanwhile, she was running all around the house like this. And then my uncle was chasing her with the knife, and I was also running, trying to stop my uncle from not doing that. But I'm just a baby who's 7 years. you know I can't do much. Even if I were to run and hold my uncle's leg or do whatever, it wasn't gonna work. That was the day I lost respect for my uncle. And the next day, my uncle, he acted cool about everything. He started asking, money from my mom. My mom gave him the money, and I was really pissed. And that's why I started voicing. That was my first time I started voicing out, and I was like, "No, mama, you mustn't give him money. Remember what happened yesterday, you know." And mom was like, "Nah, it's okay." Okay, we paused through that. Like there are a lot of things that literally happened before my mom passed on, but I'm not gonna go through that because I need to stick to the story. Because if I stick to that, give you guys single detail of everything, then it means I'm gonna take 2 hours. But like, okay, let's continue. So after my mom passed on, that's where I get to see that this is not life, man. This is not how people should live. I get the fact that he's a last born. Things he wasn't doing stuff. Things were getting his sisters. I mean, his sisters used to do stuff on his behalf because apparently he was the last born, of the family. So I think he gotten used to the fact that I mustn't do anything, this and that, this and that, this and that. I think he gotten used to that. So when my mom passed on, guys, it was very painful moment. It was very heartbreaking moment because I gone through so much, after losing my mom. Because remember, I was just a baby who's very dependent on someone, which was my mom. Every single thing that I would want, I would ask my mom this and that, even if sometimes she would just be. She was a very straightforward person. If she didn't have something, she would be like, "Baby, I don't have this, okay?" And I would understand because she was a straightforward person. So after she passed on, I was in grade 11. I was in grade 11, guys. I went through depression. I went through a lot, mixed emotions. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to be myself. I was caught up in so much emotions at that time. And when you are caught up in so many emotions, you end up lashing at, no, not lashing. What's a lashing? What is lashing, well? You are English. Yeah, you end up holding grudges, against people that hurts you because you're still fragile at that moment. And the toxicity in the house started continuing. It started continuing because I remember I was the only girl in the house, and there's certain duties that us as ladies you have to do, such as cleaning the house, sometimes cooking. I didn't mind those chores. But what I didn't really like about the chores is that my grandparents are old, bruh. Like they are so old. Yes, even if sometimes I'd get help there and there, my grandmother will help me. She would cook. Sometimes I wouldn't cook. She'd do the dishes, and my grandmother, she's the one person that doesn't like telling people what to do in her house. Like, if she feels like she needs to clean her house, she will clean her house without any help. She's that type of a person. But remember, these people are getting old, they can't really do that consistently. So, every single time cleaning the house, doing this, doing this, doing this, they can't. And I also can't stay and sit and do nothing about it. Like I'm a girl in the house. I need to make sure I cook sometimes, so that my grandmother can rest and all that. So my grandmother, she's a person that has a farmer, so she spent most of her time there. She loves her farmer. She loves her farmer. She'd like literally go there and check if her farm is fine, if there's no weed that needs to be taken out on the ground, just to clean there. she would forever spend most of her time in the farm, you know. And obviously I can't expect her that when she comes back from the farm and then out she has to start cooking and all that. I have to do something so that when she comes back she got a full plate of food, nice full plate of food of dinner, So what I did not like is that I would do absolutely everything in the house, and when it's absolutely everything, and then we had a tap outside, so you have to like literally go for yeah you have to go outside, get the water, and normally we would use like a 20-liter buckets, to get the water and to the house. So I would complain with that. I'd be like, I need help when coming to this, since my uncle is in the house and he's not doing anything, so at least he can, get water, instead of me going getting water. Guys, I'm such a tiny person. I can't even lift the 20-liter, you know. It's very heavy. It's so heavy. So I'm not complaining about the chores and everything, Um, so what really hurts me is that every single time I'd voice out the fact that no, I need help there and there, this and that, and they will tell me that no, you have to also remember that your uncle, he's older than you. He can't be doing anything, and this is his home. So, the way they were putting it actually hurts me. Like, I remember my mom passed on and left me with them and left me in that home, in that place that I call a home. So if now that I get to voice out certain things that I didn't like, and then you tell me that no, this is his home, no, you can't expect him to do this and that. Like literally, that person, he would eat and then just leave his plate there. So me, I have to come and clean after him. So I got tired. I got tired to the point that I can't clean after a person who's a grown up, you know, because certain things I need to learn from him. He's old. He needs to set an example for me. I can't always pick stuff after him doing this. No, don't do that. So I wouldn't mind doing the chores, man. I wouldn't like, because I gotten used to doing the chores anyway. So, and one thing about me, I've always been a person who believe in equality, of that if I am a woman, I'm able to do this and that. And you are a man, you also had to be able to do certain things. It doesn't have to be that this is the child, this is the only person who do the chores, this is the only person that needs to focus on this and that. This person is old and this person can't do whatever, you know. Yes, you can't do everything as an older person, but you have to pick certain things that you are able to do in the house. Because like most of the work, I was the one person that gets to do them, and I would sometimes struggle with some of the things. Guys, I was still small. I think I was 15 or 14. No, 15 or 14, 16, somewhere there. And if you're not showing me how to do stuff or help me in type of way, it all become heavy for me, and for me to voice it out, it will be like I don't want to do anything. I don't you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So sometimes I would be brave enough, and sit my grandmother down, just to talk about the situation, on how can I be helped with certain things like water. I'm not saying this person must wash the dishes, because during the day it's just me and him in the house, and I do utterly everything. And he will be just sitting down there, putting his feet on the table and everything like that. And I didn't like that, man. I didn't like that, because I felt like, what are they taking me for? Like, So I sat my grandmother down and I spoke to her about this. I was like, this is it. I only want help when coming to water because I can't go to the tap outside and get the water and bring the water in the house, and then do absolutely everything in the house without any help. So this is the help that I'm asking for. And I was like, no, you need to stop comparing yourself with your uncle. You need to know that your uncle, it's a man, you are a woman, so you can't compare yourself. And I wasn't comparing myself, I was just putting out something out there so that they can see and be able to say no, she struggled with 1 2 3, so if we help her with this, and there won't be any complaints or something like that. And for that thing, it continues, but I moved past it. I kept quiet about it. I started doing my business. If I need to do the dishes, I'll do the dishes, and it'll be just that. So okay, time, days, month went by. So there was this one time I was really angry because I would see that they wouldn't do anything about what I'm telling them. So I cooked. I cooked and I dished out for my grandparent and myself, and I did not dish up for him. So there was a fight of I'm eating the food, and I don't wanna dish for the child. And that's my grandmother who's saying this word. It's like I'm dishing, I'm eating the food and I don't want to dish for the son and this and that, blah 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 blah. That really hurt me. I was like, oh, so here it's not really about that this person is a man, this person doesn't that. It's about favorism. It's about favorism. So um it really hurts me, but I needed to live with that. I needed to get used to how they treated me, how is everything happening, in that house. I needed to get used to that. Finally, I gotten used to that. So cool. So after I'm done with my matric, I had to move to Joburg, to my aunt, to live with my aunt. And I came here, was looking for school to go to, and meanwhile, my my most of my subject I didn't do well, so I had to like upgrade some of them. So my uncle also came this side. He also came this side. So what happened is we had a lady who was cleaning in the house. So that lady, she was a very quiet person. She was like my mom, bruh. You literally swear at her, insult her. She wouldn't say a word, unless if she has had enough with you, and then that's where she would get to reply you and tell you where where to get off. So there was this one time, man. I was in the house. I remember that day, I did not go to school because like I was upgrading my marks and everything. So I didn't go to school. I was in the house, and normally when I'm in the house, I don't just look at her, doing all the chores and everything. I would ask her what must I do to help her. Um, she normally used to say, no, you can do the dishes and I'll do the rest. But I would feel like I still need to do something to help her because this thing it's in my blood, man. I'm used to doing chores. So I would ask her and she was like, no, just do the dishes and I'll do the rest of the work. Fine. So I was eating So when I was eating, he was also on the table, my uncle. He came also this side to do law. Yeah, law. He was busy with law with some courses there. So, and meanwhile, remember that this person is very disrespectful. He's the one person that he doesn't want to be told what to do, what to you understand. He always wants to talk and talk and talk and being listened to. So he was sitting there, telling the lady, hey, check here, you didn't do 1 2 3 1 2 3. Hey, this is my sister's house. 1 2 3 1 2 3. Oh gosh. I got really pissed at the way he was disrespecting the lady, and I intervened and I was like, no, let me tell you something. You see, as much as you want to be respected in this house, not in this whole house, but if you want to be respected, you need to respect the other people. That's how it works, period. This person is here to do her job, and I believe that this person knows her job very well. So that's why she's here, she's hired, she's doing her job. You understand? And then she started insulting me. You don't get to say anything. I'm sure you've aborted like maybe 10 or 20 babies, and I've always had stories from my friends saying that you're dating older men. I've always had stories about that. You don't get to tell me anything, like you as rotten as you are. So I wouldn't listen to a person like you, this and that. And then I was like, what is this person saying? Like, I've never in my whole entire life get to abort a child, this and that. So I got really angry. Then I start back chatting him, and I was like, no, this is not how it works. You don't get to disrespect me and expect me tomorrow to respect you. That's not how it works. Respect is earned. And if you're gonna go around disrespecting people because you believe no one's gonna do anything to you, it ends today. It ends today. And he even like said that the reason why my mom passed on is because my mom had so much pride. If it wasn't for my mother's pride, my mother could have been alive today, this and that. The minute the minute he spoke like that about my mother, it's like the devil in me woke up, and I was like, no, you're not gonna disrespect my mom. Yes, you used to disrespect my mom while he was alive, while she was alive. I'm not gonna let you to disrespect her while she's gone. And then I was in the kitchen, so she came in the kitchen because obviously she was sitting on the sitting room. On a dining room. No, he was sitting on the table in the dining room, and then he came to the kitchen and started pointing me like this, guys. Start pointing me like this. You're not gonna talk to me like that. And I was like, no, you don't tell me how to talk to you if you can't talk to me. You understand? Because there are certain things that I should be learning from you. You understand? But the way you're speaking to me, you wouldn't you wouldn't tell me how to speak to you, because you're speaking to me in a very disrespectful manner, and you want me to speak to you in a respectful manner. How does that work? No, it does not work like that. Yo, did I not tell you guys that this person kicked me? Like, he kicked me. I'm just this tiny little baby now, so he kicked me. The devil in me rose, and it was like, no, you're not gonna allow this. And then, guys, I fought him. I don't know how I managed to defeat him, because I think the reason how I managed to defeat him, it was like, it's because he fell on the ground and I started sitting on top of him. You see how My fist is so small, guys, but I was like, I was like, so I took the plate and then the plate fell, and then I took the plate and started stabbing him on the head. And then he wanted to stab me back with it, so I was literally holding it like this, but it was cutting my. Oh, I'd never forget that day. So like he wanted to also stab me, but I managed to like protect myself and then hold that glass like this while he's pushing it, guys. It was just a mess. It was hell of a mess. So I stood up there and I ran to the room, and then he started saying word like, I've never had niece or nephews that disrespect me as much as you do. You think you better. You think you know better? Imagine me being beaten by my own niece. And then, funny enough, I was provoking him. He's like, yeah, if you go around and disrespecting people, then you're gonna be beaten by your niece, by your nephews, because the way you present yourself as an uncle, it's not a good way. It's not a good way. And guys, I've always say that to people that my uncle don't love me. The reason why I used to tell people like that is because if I don't know if this is a theory or it's just a word on the streets, because they know it normally says that if a person doesn't love your parent, then that person wouldn't love the children. You understand? So it was always like that this person has never liked my mom, and there's no way that this person would love or like me if this person couldn't love my mom at that moment, you know. So it has always been like that. So funny enough, I was so pissed, I was so pissed. I wanted to also open um a case. I wanted to open a case against him. But before I get to do that, I was so angry. I called my grandmother. I was like, yo, this is what happened. Your son did this and that, this and that, this and that to me. And the way I'm so pissed, because I had some blue eyes on my face, guys. I had some blue eyes. The reason why I get to stab my uncles because I was defending myself, right? It's either that person was going to beat me to death. The way he was beating me, yo, it wasn't like this person was beating a child. It's like this person was beating his mate. You understand? So I had to do something. So that's why I stabbed him, because after stabbing him I ran to the I ran to the room. So I wanted to open a case against my uncle, but before I get to do that, I called my grandmother's like, this is what your son did to me, and then I did some self-defense, I stabbed him, but I'm going to open a case for him. And you know what was the response? That's the response that broke my heart. So my grandmother was like, if you are going to do that, don't ever set your foot in my house ever again. I don't want to see you after you've done that. So it immediately my grandmother said that, it broke me. It broke me. I didn't know whether to do it, whether I should do it or not. So I ended up not going to the police because I don't want to ruin this relationship, that I have, the family relationship. I didn't want it to be more toxic as it is already. So, guys, I wish you guys could see my face at that time. Like, I had those purple eyes. I looked so bad. I remember the next day I needed to put like some foundation because I was going to school. Some foundation, so people couldn't see. And the minute I got to school, most of my friends were like, "Why are you like this? What happened?" I had to lie that the cupboard fell on me, the whole cupboard. That was really painful. Tell me what you think about this story. Please like, view. Tell me what you think. I'll do part two of this. Mwah.